Good evening and welcome to the live stream. Going to give this just a quick second over here and make sure that I can hear it. Had a few issues in the past. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, looks like we're back with Alex on our path to Shattered Space again. In the time off stream, I did do a little ship hunting, did a little inventory management, things like that I normally do. Just for anybody who hasn't seen this before, we're going to go ahead and show the gameplay options so they'll be on stream. Hey, Johnny Myers, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here early and being the first like. And you can pause that if you guys are interested in that. So what are we going to do today? Like I said, did a little bit of hunting last time. Got some ships. I'll show you where I got those from as well. I also did some legendary gear gathering on top of that. And I'm going to continue to prepare. I'd also like to take a couple of minutes during the stream tonight and go over the, I don't know if it's 6 or 7 areas, but some key areas that I am focusing on as specific preparation for Shattered Space. And I'm just going to kind of walk through those and show you some specific places that I have looked at. If you've been on any of the earlier streams, maybe you've seen some of that as well, but this will be kind of a wrap up because we're, I think, less than 4 days away, technically speaking, at this point in time from Shattered Space dropping. And we have seen several things in the gameplay, let's say the trailers, and in the, what is it, the Six Serpents Path videos that came out as well, and then the really cool animated clip that just came in as well. So I'm trying to watch all those and keep an eye on what might be coming and what we might see out there. And so I think the first one, and we've talked about this before, is just flat out leveling the character. He started at, I think he started at 45, and this is the character that I've been playing up through as a, you know, with the gameplay options adjusted, survival mode settings all the way from the beginning. But the preparation for Shattered Space really started around level 45, and you can see he's pretty close to 50 at this point. I think when I finished up the last stream, he was at 48, and since I was out doing some ship hunting, I had to clear 2 ships. There was a little bit of combat, and he kicked over the top for those levels. I don't think that there is a specific level requirement for the Shattered Space DLC that I'm aware of at this point in time. I would say that, you know, my target was in the 50 range. Some of that was just to get skill points that I could apply as well. But, you know, maybe as low as, I don't even know if there's going to be a bottom limit to what you're going to be able to use. If I think back to like Far Harbor, I believe that there were a series of quests you had to do for Far Harbor, and they've said that this DLC is kind of like Far Harbor, and it might just be in its size or the fact that it's all kind of in one location. But if I just think back to what Bethesda did in the past, my general impression is, you know, maybe there'll be a series of quests so that you can't walk out of Crete and, you know, go straight to the lodge, turn around and do Shattered Space. You might have to do a couple of things. In Far Harbor, you had to unlock an NPC. I think it was Nick Valentine. He was a synth. And once you went through that process and you unlocked him, you could then tune to a radio station and pick up the signal. And we know in this game we're going to get a signal for this derelict star station, or I don't know if it's derelict or not, but this damaged star station. We're going to get a signal that we can deal with and follow up on there. And we've seen that in the videos too, so that's pretty good. So could be something like that. Could be like they do in the main quest line where, you know, we have to do a long, let's say, grav jump. I think somewhere along the main quest line, there's Andreja running along behind us. Somewhere along the main quest line, we have to get like a 21 light year ship, and they use that as kind of a gateway or a gate to keep us from progressing beyond a certain point until we do that. So maybe that's what's going to happen with us. Maybe that's not what's going to happen with us. So just thinking about that. So I wanted to level up and make sure that I had myself at least into the 50s, and we'll take it from there. The next thing that I have been working on, and if you've been watching some of the previous streams, some of this might not be new, is I am picking up these skill points and applying them in slightly different areas. Now, I'm not paying a lot of attention to tech and science right now, but I am focusing on physical and combat. And really, my original gameplay style was very much a stealth sniper and pilot. This is Alex loosely based on the Expanse character. So he's supposed to be a Martian pilot, and I was going down that route until Shattered Space got closer. And I didn't necessarily, stealth is useful in a variety of ways, but I really just needed to get to this next level and get gymnastics on the list. So for me right now, I'm going after gymnastics. I have done all the challenges. I have rank 3, if I got that right. I should have rank 3 of 4. Yep, so I have 3 of 4, and I've done all the challenges. And when I get a point, if I want to, I can put it in gymnastics. On the combat side, I was already into ballistics pretty heavily and rifle as part of the sniper build, but what I've added since then are particle beams, heavy weapons certification, and demolitions. And I think I'm 1 of 4, 1 of 4, and 1 of 4 there. But in the last stream, we also completed at least the first challenge rank on those. And the primary reason I want those is I think particle beams seems kind of obvious, probably from the purpose of it being a Varun focused DLC, right? So I expect we're going to find plenty of particle beam weapons. I'm carrying an inflictor that I picked up in Kazal, I think on one of the last streams. And so I think we're going to be using particle beams. So that's kind of an easy one to put on the list. The heavy weapons certification, there is a single trailer where we pick up a weapon called a Starstorm, I think it's called. And it looks like a heavy particle kind of Gatling gun of some sort, or a multi-fire gun, a machine gun of some sort that is a heavy weapon as well. So I picked up heavy weapons and started to rank that one up, so we'll get a little bit of bonus damage on that. And if before Shattered Space comes out I can get a few more points, I'll put those into those next levels on those, so that when we go into Shattered Space we'll be ranking those up as well. And the last one's demolitions, and on demolitions we do know that there are achievements for a certain group or some new grenades that we'll be able to make in the game. So I wanted to pick those up as well. And I don't know that the trajectory arc, I'm still getting the hang of that. It's kind of fun. And at times I don't use it correctly, but I do like, the more damage, and I don't think, I've got a larger radius on this one for more damage, and I'll get more damage on the next one as well. And then the last one I've been thinking about, and this was a recommendation, maybe from Anna in a previous video, I may have that wrong, was dueling. And because there's going to be more melee and things like that in the game, I think that dueling might be useful. So I might go down this route if I get enough points. So this is going to be a question of how far I can go within the next few days before Shattered Space drops, how many levels I can rack up after I get the levels that I generally just want to pick up. So I think the next thing I did, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can fast travel over to this planet, was I did a little legendary hunting too. And I actually have pretty good armor, and if you've watched the video I put out earlier this week, I went ahead and picked up the DLC, mainly to show everybody what that looks like. But I did want to do some armor hunting out here, and so I've got another video on this. I don't want to go to, is this Arene? I don't want to go to Arene. Let's not go to Arene. I'm not even sure I can pick this thing off the map. I want to go to Olympus and to Nesoi. And I don't have a base in Nesoi at this point in time, but thank you. I do have a base technically. It's just a marker. That's all it is. What is this one called? I think I called it Current Suit Farm. How about that? That's the explanation right there. So I have a previous video out a couple months ago. I think it's titled Legendary Suits, Helmets and Packs, something like that. And there's a technique if you can find a very specific type of civilian outpost. And I guess I don't have my car over here, do I? I don't have my buggy. Okay. And it's nighttime. But we'll go take a look at this real quickly. Actually, what I'll do is I'll show you on the map where I went. So it's nice and safe up here. So if I look at the local map, I basically went to Nesoi and I searched on all of the, let me look at this, the savanna areas that had water, right? So this particular color, and they had to be savanna areas. I'm in combat right now. And I eventually found on the map this particular civilian outpost. And it has a very distinct look. I found 2 of them so far. I've probably jumped around 10 or 20 times on the planet before I found both of these. And I farmed both of them. And they have a lot of water around the base and a very specific design here with a landing pad. And most of the time I find them, they are unoccupied. There's nobody on them. and you can just kind of waltz up to them and look inside. I'm going to show you what's inside these. I get my bearings straight. So I approach them from this particular direction. The landing pad is straight ahead in that direction. This has a nice long pathway. And sometimes when you come over here, something will land on the landing pad. It might be Ecliptic, Pirates, Starborn, and sometimes you can actually find friendly NPCs in here, which I have not noticed them interfering. But I'm just going to talk about the basic technique, and then we'll move back on. I'll show you what I came away with and why it's of interest to me. So you walk inside through the nice plastic refrigerator barrier, and there are 4 cases here that when you arrive the first time will be full of suits, packs, and helmets in each case. And usually I stand here in the front. I'll do a quick save at this location. Actually, I open up all the cases. If you look at it from the side, I've opened up all the doors. You do a quick save from this location, and then you just open them, but don't take anything each time. And if you don't get something you like a legendary or something like that, you just do a quick restore if you're willing to do that. But, you know, at this point in time, you can also trade Astras for legendary gear if you've done the first Trackers Alliance quest. So collect all your Astras and spend them there. But if you don't want to do that and you want to watch some watch some YouTube or Netflix or whatever you want to watch and spend a little time working through this process, you can cycle through this. And what I found was about 1/6 of the time, so what is that, less than 20% of the time, I was getting a legendary. And in this particular case, what I came away with was a Sentinel's Calibrated Explorer spacesuit. Wasn't too bad, but what it has on it that I care about, and this is why it's related to Shattered Space, is the minus 15% incoming melee damage. So sturdy. There are a set of perks that we can get on weapons as well as armor items that might help us in Shattered Space. And we've seen in some of the videos there are, we'll call it some berserker behavior on the part of Varun Zealots on Varun Kai. And they charge at you. They've got two melee blade weapons in their hands, and so there's probably going to be a need for a little close-in combat. They've talked about that in the trailer videos as well. So sturdy is a nice one to have. I think Sentinel might be okay. Resource hauler I'm not too worried about. On the pack side, I got 15% damage from, or minus 15% damage from human enemies, combat veteran. The carry capacity I'm not worried about. I like this one, the reactive, 10% chance to stagger nearby attackers. The other thing that they covered in the video for Shattered Space is, and these were creatures or alien creatures on the planet, but it looked like swarming behavior, right? There was a particular cutscene, or there was a particular scene where the player was surrounded by a bunch of them and they were all over him. So I think anything that has some chance to proc and protect you from, I think the term nearby shows up in some of the perks as well, is worth having. And on the helmet I think I have repulsing, anti-ballistic, physical damage, ranged weapons. I'm not that worried about it. So I came here looking for some basic legendary gear, and I spent some time. I'm pretty sure I probably cycled through this 100 times or something. So it takes a little bit of time, but I walked away with this gear, and that's what I wanted in hand. And I think the other part of this is more about what I would do with the suit mods, and I have leveled up previously before preparing for Shattered Space. I have leveled up my spacesuit. Is it spacesuit engineering? I think that's what it's called. Let's go back to Kineer town. Hey Ben, how you doing? The county fair. That's pretty cool. Did you have terrible food? I mean, delicious, but terrible for you food?
No organics here.
That's the whole point.
Valuable minerals,
Whoops.
perhaps.
I'm just going to go in here and take a look and show you what I'm going to do on these that's a little different than normal. Because I think this is all Shattered Space specific prep that's worth doing.
Hello.
Oh, who's that? Oh, it's Lynn. So if I look at the spacesuit I have here, I haven't put these on here. My normal, I'm going to go back to the spacesuit if I can find it. My normal approach would be to put ballistic shielding on a spacesuit, just as by default. But I think for Shattered Space, I'm going to go with energy shielding. And that's assuming that we're going to get hit with particle beam weapons as well, which I think are physical and energy. if I've got that right. So instead of ballistics, I'm going to go with that. The number 2 slot, explosive shielding, probably for the obvious reason. If I'm going to be throwing grenades, if other people are going to be throwing grenades, that might be something that's going to happen to me. Heavy shielding, all damage resistance in general. And I think in the number 4 slot, this might make me slightly sneakier than normal, so gravitic components, I think we're going to call it. I'm going to go ahead and throw these in here too. This is the helmet. Energy shielding on that one too. Let's just see if we can knock these out real quickly. It's a little sluggish today.
Welcome back.
Mowgli! The advanced Big Bang. I am jealous. I merely have a refined Big Bang at this point, so maybe I'm gonna go for hazard protection. Maybe on the Big Bang I might go out and do a little bit of that farming myself. And regeneration sounds nice. I don't think I have any skins for those. So that's the general idea, is if you're going to pick up legendaries, actually it doesn't really matter, legendaries, epics, or rares, if you can get them with some of those kind of close combat, damage mitigation, or just mitigation perks, I think all those are probably worth having for Shattered Space. What do we have here? Speaking of, that's the Inflictor I picked up last time. I did happen upon this Instigating Calibrated Hard Target. That's not an advanced. The Refined Big Bang. Clearly, we should amplify that one.
Yes, good to be sure you are getting the best
and put Annihilator rounds in it because, you know, legal, schmeagle, why would we care? I'm not sure I'm going to use this thing a lot, but... I hope I have enough material to go ahead and... United BT. This is not a New Game Plus character. This guy is actually brand new. Well, I shouldn't say brand new. He's currently level 49, but after my original New Game Plus playthrough series, I came back and we started up a, you know, for lack of a better term, it escapes me at this point in time. I keep thinking gameplay options, but survival mode player. He's about midway through, and I'll show you this one just since you came in a little late. This is just like a plus 21%, right? So just a little bit here and there. It's certainly not in the extreme category, but I did go through in the last live stream and pick up, that's probably not the best way to say it. Andreja and I committed to each other in a clever little ceremony where she gave me a knife. So we also have the option at this point in time to catch another 15% bonus off of taking a nap, right? So that's where we're at.
I would not mind if we went to bed sometime soon.
She's so sweet. Thanks, babe. And I keep forgetting because I have the gameplay option set. I have to eat something. That's probably more than I should have eaten. Not an orange. How about just anything, please? No. Let's don't start drinking in the morning. I got a little bit of water. Okay. So that's the general approach on Spacesuit for Shattered Space, as far as I'm concerned. I could always swap something out over the next couple days as well. On the weapons, I think everything else is kind of tricked out right now. If I get an advanced or something a little better, I'll swap those out as well. I have the Nova Strike Sniper from the Trackers Alliance. I've got the Big Bang, my Beowulf, Inflictor, Hard Target, and I'm still carrying around a couple of Tantos here, so we'll see how this goes. So I think those are the first, let me check my notes here real quickly. I think those are the first 3 or 4 items that I was looking at. And some of them are kind of the same item. So weapons, ammo, and perks. Oh, I guess the other thing I was thinking about is if I'm going to gather ammo heavy fuse might be a pretty cool option to pick up. And at this point in time, I am stockpiling. I hope I've got them in the right place. I am stockpiling Astras. So I have 17 right now. I just have in this box. And that's kind of a roll of the dice, I think, at this point in time. I don't know if Astras are going to be worth anything in Shattered Space, but they're only useful at the Trackers Alliance with the single vendor stash at this point in time. And I've asked him the story about him, and you get kind of the story that during the time or around the Narion War, there were some individuals, enterprising individuals, who didn't think that Galbank was going to survive, and so they invented this currency. And I guess it occurs to me on some level that if I were the Varun, and I had distanced myself from the rest of the settled systems, I might be involved in this currency as well. I don't know. That's a complete and total guess on my part. But I'm going to stockpile some of these because I'm going to do some points of interest, and they're going to end up in my inventory. So maybe when we show up over there, I've got 20-something Astra in my inventory, and there's nothing to do with them in Shattered Space or in Varun Kai. Or maybe I show up and there's all sorts of interesting things to do with them. I don't know. Maybe there'll be vendors that have some really kind of cool equipment there. Well, this is interesting. I really didn't think this planet had an atmosphere, but that's me. So I will also note, off camera, I did pick up a Claymore 2. I could not get a Claymore 3 to drop at my level for whatever reason. I can't find the door either, so we'll see how that works. And I will show you my current favorite hunting spot for these. And since this thing should give me 30 light years, and I added a few extra tanks, out here on Archimedes, even though this is a level 75 system and I'm a level 49, this is one of my favorite places to go. And Archimedes 4A is one of my favorite spots. And I have appropriately named this particular base marker Ship Farm. I don't think there's anything other than a marker there. And I came out here, and it took me 3 or 4 jumps, it usually does, to land, do a save before I get out of the ship. And I get out of the ship, and sometimes you hear the sonic boom up in the sky and a ship drops. That's not really what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for most of the time is a ship landing site that's just a short distance away, so that I can run the drill. And again, this is essentially another save scumming exercise. I'm going to see if I can figure out where this was. That's it right there. So there's actually another Claymore sitting there right now, and that's automatically there. So I think what I typically do is, well, there's another, wait, there's a ship landing site. I'm going to ignore that Claymore. That's mine. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, there's a Claymore 2 over there. Did you see it? It's really nice. It's got a nice gray and black and red paint job. So it's mine. Okay, so I've got my scanner open so I can see the circumference, and I'm 357 meters away. I don't want to get any closer yet, so just to demonstrate this, I'm going to do a quick save right here. We'll see if it works, and then we're just going to jump over to this ship landing site and see what we get, if we get anything. There's the boom. So we are, yeah, just inside 250 meters or so. And it's starborn. So I don't plan on stealing any starborn ships at this point, and I'm not really that interested in fighting them. And so, you know, you just hit the quick restore and go from there. And I did that a few cycles. Like I said, I got more than a few Claymore 2s. I may have picked up a Crimson Fleet ship as well. I don't recall, but I won't do this more than one more time. There we go. I like to use a sniper rifle to see what comes down. Yeah, same thing. And I don't think that's a duplicate. It's just It's just coming back to this location. So I think that's it. The only other thing that, I wish I had, if Ben says we found one of the moons in the Firma system for ship hunting. Yeah, if that's what you're saying, absolutely. My take on this, and this is what I've been doing for quite a while, for months now, is when I find a barren moon with helium on it, that's almost always a good spot. Now I have to jump around 3 or 4 times to find a good location, but once I've got it, you just lock it in when you're good, like more than 300-400 meters away from the ship landing site. And I think there are variations. I've seen people put them closer. I've seen people kind of come up with all combinations, but really the key for me is just, I don't want to dump my money into buying a ship at this point. So I picked one up, and then I take it back because I did the UC Vanguard quest line, and I put some nice guns on it, upgrade the shield, spend a little bit of money, not a lot, and kind of take it from there. As I was going to say, the last thing that I think from a Shattered Space preparation is, and there's really nothing I can do about this for this character, is if you have Serpent's Embrace, that seems like it would be a good thing to have. I don't have that clearly at this point in time. Didn't pick it up in the first place, and I'm not going to use console commands or anything in order to chase that down.
I hope Cora doesn't get.
But I think that would be fun. The good news, good news, bad news is I absolutely know that when I go through the Unity, I'll be able to reset that, and so I'm surely going to get pretty good replay value out of Shattered Space. I think most people will, given the size and complexity of it. So I look forward to putting multiple characters through it. So I'll just do a quick little walkthrough of the ship. Maybe I'll slow it down a little bit. Right now I just have 2, I think these are just living quarters down here. I think in the past I turned these into empty quarters. However, and this came up in the Discord, if I put in an empty workshop and tried to put in my own workbenches, and they were falling through the floor. So I think they've introduced a bug into this. Okay, guys. I have to jump over them. That's kind of ridiculous. So there's something going on with the ship habs right now and doing all your own custom builds. So I've gone with a standard workshop for the ship, and we're just going to go with that. Mowgli has stepped away and taken care of the dogs. Good job. They need it. We know they do. So I think that's everything. Levels, skills, weapons, armor, ammo, perks, mods to the same, credits, Astros. I think you're going to need some money, and that's kind of an obvious one. I think probably one of the last things we'll do Sunday night is go sell off all the excess nonsense that has accumulated over time. So what I'd like to do tonight is run through some points of interest. I'm not going to tackle anything long. I'm not going to try to go through an entire faction quest tonight, and I don't want to break one of them up. I might do something over the weekend with one of the 2 remaining faction quest lines, and just kind of do an extended stream as well for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Bessel, and I'm going to jump into, I think it's called the Sonder, and from there we'll hop around. Actually, I want to go do RE 939 first, I think is what I want to do. That is a Varun, should be a Varun occupied location, and if any of those exist and I can identify them, I want to go hit all those I can before Shattered Space. Generally in the idea that, maybe I'll get a better inflictor drop. This one's in a very low level system, so I'm not sure anything's going to happen here. So, but I do want to just start racking up some XP. Hey Ron Clark, how are you doing? Oh my. Oh yeah. I have friends down there. They say it's a very strange pattern you're seeing. Mowgli asked, anyone get the UC Vigilant? Disappears near the end of Crix's Legacy mission. I have not done that one since that bug has started showing up. I understand it's showing up at a distance. Well, I think that bug's been around for a while, hasn't it? So the ship is a significant distance away, and you have to fly for 5-10 minutes, like you're, I don't know, going to Hubble orbital for coffee mugs or something. Not quite as long, but
Solid docking job there. Nice work.
thanks. We appreciate that. Okay, do we have our... Okay, Andreja's with us. That's what we want. How are we doing on... We've got all our bonus, and I've got one skill point that I'm just sitting on right now.